Different, don't get bad. High difference of my winning. Show do good, not that swing. Yeah, I got nice vision.
Sean here. Chance is the best kind of narcissist, the kind of narcissist that has to be the hero and the victim at the same time. So if he skews too much like the victim and he feels like he might look weak, boom, he's going into hero. I started handling them all. And if he goes too far into the hero and realizes that he won't get any sympathy, oh, but I was injured in the fight. I went out heroically. And I think that's how he sees this confrontation with the new 339 front porch champ, Low T. I think that's how he sees it, because Chance now has permanent nerve damage. If I was to punch you in the arm, frog you, knuckle punch, right in the arm, I would leave a bruise, and it would be sore, and it would probably be a little numb from where the bruising is, or, where the strike actually occurred before the bruising, because, before the deep bruising or whatever. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point I'm making is Chance, without ever having left his attic, with only 30 minutes, could instantly tell he had permanent nerve damage, and now he's a victim because of that. Now, because of the assault, Jesus, man. And the reason I'm bringing this up is, looking at him, and I told you, his confusion and rage at the same time. Like, he doesn't know where he is, but he's angry about it, right? Sunlight. I hate sunlight. I should be in there jerking my gherkin. Whenever he turns sideways and you can see his hunchback profile and the bald head and the hair and how he slunches over, that's when you get a sense of what he really is. Not the guy with the mic, in the dark, yelling, yeah, we gotta stand up. But he's gone, man. Not just mentally, time frame wise. By the time we could get him to where he could contribute anything, it would be too late. Because unless Sally initiated it, unless she was terminally ill and there were special mitigating factors or whatever, Chance is not getting fast-tracked into any kind of program, support program. Our guy is going to be a bum. And as I've stated before, probably a male prostitute for a person cosplaying as a troll, a World of Warcraft troll, and they want somebody that looks like a goblin. I don't know. I just can't see it. But even if we, the troll community, as he says, that he's conquered and left and dominated and won against and still mentions every day, even if we put together all of these packages, had our most eloquent speakers, most educated, come out, use a bunch of terms that the psychs would understand, and the counselors and the evaluators, that all of them would understand, even if we had them come out and say that, and we had all the evidence, and we had that he was a danger to kids, to women, they couldn't fast track him because we are not family. If the state instigated it, then maybe, just maybe. But here's where the rub lies. If we initiate it, there's an issue, because the family would deny, appeal, deny, and it would go on and on. As Chance would say, over and over. But the appeals, then it would go to a counselor, then it would go to an evaluator, then they do a site visit, then they do an unannounced site visit. Well, they do that first, then they do an announced site visit and see if anything's changed. They try to talk to Chance, see where he's at, evaluate him, his mental health. Chance is pretty good at manipulating people, so he could probably convince them that he's just a little sad guy who feels like he's not accepted. He's just a victim. He's been bullied for 7 to 8 years. I'm just a little kid. I love it when the cops shut him down whenever he does that crap. It's like, you're a grown-ass man, Chance. You're not a boy. Sally, God. The number she did on society, man. So yeah, the appeals and fighting it, and then Sally's lies. Of course, Ed, if he was smart, or maybe if we were lucky, Ed would just say something really stupid, thinking he was, accidentally tell the truth, which is what happens. They'd rather climb a tree and tell a lie than stand on the ground and tell the truth. I mean, that's what a lot of these people are like. And if it's going to inconvenience Sally, if it means she has to fill out any extra paperwork, everything's fine. These are just the trolls. They do this all the time. If I was Sally, or I was Ed, and this was going to be an option, I would jump at the chance. I would think, here we go. This is an out. This is somebody can finally help him. I can die now and know that he's not going to be on the street doing things for crack. Maybe deathbed she realizes what a failure she is. I doubt it though. I highly doubt that she would realize what she's done. I don't think she wants to look at it. She would rather just ignore it and hope that it goes away. And I think for the most part, that's probably what Ed is like. If we just wait this out, it'll fix itself maybe. I think that's a lot of it. I think that handling this would be too much work. Handling this would mean too much paperwork. It would mean talking to too many people, the truth, having to face the truth. I don't think that's something they could do. That whole process would probably take about 5 years if we did it, and if they did the appeals, and then they dragged their feet, and then the evaluations, if they just kept canceling. And even if they did get chanced into a job, he would call in sick after like a day. You've never worked a day in your life. That's the hardest job I've ever done. He would end up doing something or saying something, be in the bathroom 10 times a day. They thought he would be fighting somebody, but we know what would be really going on. 2 goblins wrestling, a little one and a big one. And even if Jake was available, let's say Security Jake was an upstanding guy. I can't think of any guy that isn't like a grown-ass man that would take on a project like this, knowing what kind of commitment it would take and knowing that you would likely have the hardest time getting them out of your house, that they would sabotage everything just so they didn't have to leave and they could continue to leech off of you. Well, let's say Sally initiated it. Then maybe, just maybe, it would go a little faster because the appeals wouldn't be from Sally. All of this stuff would be coming from the state. It would have to go from desk to desk, get a review, then another review, and you know the deal until it finally gets a final review. And if this case did have to go in front of a judge because there'd be some sort of custodianship, and that's another thing, if Sally had custodianship, sort of like an adult guardian, perchance, if she had some kind of status as an adult guardian, it would probably be a lot harder to get anything done, because in their eyes, if they look at it, well, Chance already has a guardian. He has somebody. He's there. She's already taking care of him. They wouldn't really care what's going to happen when Sally dies, because it's none of their business. They don't really care. But the guy is a predator, a manipulator. He's violent. He's disgusting. He's vile. He has all of the hallmarks of someone that's going to leech off of the system and be a problem for every aspect of it. Sitting down across from him, you'd have to go through some standard questions, and then you would start asking some questions that would determine his way of thinking, his thought process. Maybe you would, with Chance, hand him some crayons and a coloring book and see if he can color within the lines, and he'd probably be like, yeah, I'm the color champion of the world. Ain't nobody color like me. I drew a car. But that's not what we're really talking about. I'm talking about they would have to do a thorough evaluation on Chancey Poo. As an adult, as a kid, you know, they've got the standard special needs and everything else, but as an adult, there is so much more to consider, because a kid, you know, they typically don't take care of themselves. And with an adult, they're going to be the ones that are taking care of themselves. Chances, they're going to have to determine whether or not he can function on his own. Can they even put him in a room? Can they even do a group home? Can they even have him go to a job? Will he be able to function? Can he even get through the day without harassing a woman or threatening violence to somebody? I'm not 100% sure. There's just so much that goes into it, and I don't want to go completely into it. And I didn't go into the Ohio state law or their process, because most of it, what I'm talking about, is generic. But as an adult, if Sally did not have custodianship, Chance can raise all the red flags in the world. Slap red tape, not because he was clever, just because of his behavior, but red tape, red flags that he can file his own appeals. I don't want to leave you, Mom, but I got to take care of my mom. And you could hear Sally right now, that's right, I do need his help, or I need him around this house, and he just takes care of me. He's so wonderful. There are just so many things. Like I said, if Sally started it, maybe okay, maybe get through a little quicker. If the state started it, they could really push, but then Sally would have to want to work with them. All of this revolves around Mama Sally. It would not, you know what, the only reason that Chance is probably officially adopted is because Sally figured out if she can get him in the house and can prove that he's special needs or something, that they'll get some extra money from the state. I don't know what the tax credit is like, because I've never had to claim it. When you're taking care of like someone else, you're a guardian over somebody. I don't know if that's what Sally does. I mean, most of the money goes to Ed's Perks. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys are smarter than I am, but it's going to take at least 5 years. I do not think Sally's going to be here in 5 years. It's my prediction. I think Ed may go sooner than that. I don't know. The deal is they don't work. I don't think they work. I don't even know if they actually have a job. I don't. It's more about Chance that I know. Like Sally and Ed, they don't have to worry about being in a stressful job and being in the shape they're in. God knows. There are days I wish I could just stay at home and have the government fund me and say shit like Chance does. I get up, grab a cup of coffee, go through hundreds of merch designs, figure out what I want to do for content. When your life has jack shit in it, you have to invent stuff to fill it up. And that's what he does. And if they ask him, they try to place him in a job, and then I'll shut up about it. If they try to place him in a job, I have a job. I'm an independent content creator and a musician. I own my own merch store. I got so much going on in my life, and you can't take me away from it. Chance, your qualifications are lettuce. Wait, what? Oh, you can't pull the lettuce apart? Well, shit. Chance, here's a mop. But you can't push the mop? You got no shoulders? Here's a Swiffer? Or a feather duster? He has no qualifications. He's done nothing. He sees himself as a creative without ever having created anything, which is just the classic case there with Chancey Group. So trying to put him in a job and having him scream and yell, I don't want to go to a 9 to 5. I don't want to, Mommy. Even when Low T was there, you got a good look at how far he'll go away from the tits. He has to stay within suckling distance, because if not, he goes into full-on panic mode. And I think we saw it. I think we saw when Low T was there, he was a badass as long as Sally was at that door. A couple times he checked to make sure she was there. But after having watched that video when he supposedly fought Low T, I want you to ask yourself, do you think you could turn that little goblin loose on society? Do you think that little goblin could hold his own job? I don't think so. And I think that the process would be a long and painful one. And I don't think they could get him through by the time Sally died, and he would be bouncing from shelter to shelter. I don't know if he'd actually end up on the street. I mean, the state can only handle somebody so much before he gets put in an asylum, which is, quite honestly, is where I think he needs to be. He's mentally disturbed, and he has tendencies to be sexually aggressive, physically aggressive, verbally aggressive. He has all the hallmarks of a serial killer. They go hand in hand for him. I think I mentioned that before when he had a chub when he was fighting Marty. Violence and sex go hand in hand. So maybe he does have repressed feelings for Sally. I don't know. I mean, he was looking up her nudes. But it's over for Chance. There's not enough time. I know I rambled a little bit, but I kind of reason it out when I'm talking. There's no timeline where he gets the help he needs. The help, not that he deserves, but that he needs. Most people think when you say help he needs, that the person deserves that help. No, he fucking doesn't. Sally's an epic fucking failure. But it's the help we need him to have. So yeah, he's fucked. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Different, don't get bad. I had difference on my winning. Show the gun out there swinging. Yeah, I got night vision. All my family, all my brothers.